Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mickey Clayton with the Claflin Athletics Show. And we have with us today, always a crowd favorite, audience favorite, the men's basketball coach, Coach Brion Dunlap. Coach, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for having me on today.
Oh, it's always our pleasure to have you on with one of the favorite sports programs at Claflin and, man, turning into one of the winning ones.
Yeah, we're trying. I mean, we're continuously working to try to get better each and every day. I like our guys that we have, and we have an experienced group, an older group, and we have a bunch of seniors that hopefully they can lead us with some veteran leadership and finally get us to that Saturday in March for the CIAA championship.
You say you have a senior group. Coach, how many seniors do you have this year?
10.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, yeah. But it's fitting though in today's age of college athletics, especially in football and basketball with the portal and things of that nature. So we have them for 1 year to make them as good as we can possibly make them and teach them as much as we can in that short period of time, and hopefully we see the fruits of our labor at the end of the day.
Coach, 10 seniors. You most of them were with you, or did any of them come out the transfer portal?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. Majority of them have returned from last year, and then we got a few out of the portal as well that will make huge additions, I believe, to our program moving forward this season.
Well, Coach, you had two seniors returning that have been picked as preseason all CIAA. Now, those accolades are always good to receive before the season, but I know what you want is after the season. Tell us about those two young men and how deserving are they of that recognition for your program?
Well, Trey Whitehead the third, John Whitehead the third. We call him Trey. He's been an integral part for us last year. He started every game. He led us in scoring. He was one of our better three-point shooters, but also just one of our better basketball players in general. He has a high IQ. He wants to do whatever it takes to win. He's a fierce competitor, and he's a vocal leader too, especially when he's mentally in the right place. He's a great vocal leader for us because of his high IQ and the things that he's been through. You know, his freshman year at his previous university that he was at, he was able as a freshman in freshman in college, excuse me, be a part of a team that played for the national championship. So he understands winning. He understands what his role is on the team and how important he is to us. And he's one of the well-recognized players in the league, and rightfully so, as well as Zion Obanla. Zion is very talented. He's a senior in years, but he's a youngster, I would say, in basketball years. He's going into his fourth year playing organized basketball, and all of those pretty much have been on the collegiate level. So, he's learning day by day, picking up nuances, new things. He was just blessed with a great deal of talent, athleticism, and I think his soccer upbringing really helped him along a great deal with his footwork, and that's helped him a lot being able to play on the perimeter and on the interior for us last year and this year moving forward.
Now, I could be wrong, but I thought I remember Zion being extremely athletic last year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's one of the more athletic players on our team, and if not one of the more athletic players in our conference for sure.
And Trey, I thought we had a conversation about him last year as playing extremely well and winning some games with that three-pointer, and you just kind of turned him loose, and he put on a performance for you.
Yeah, he's not afraid of the moment, and he's not afraid of taking the big shots if we need him to or they're presented to him. He'll step up and shoot them, and if he happens to not knock it down the next time coming around, he'll be ready to shoot it again. So we understand that, and we trust Trey as well as Zion both, and we're going to look for big things for them this upcoming season.
A good jump shooter, coach, is like that cornerback. He has a short memory. When it doesn't go well, he thinks that next one he's going to knock it down. Is that him?
Yeah, I call it convenient amnesia. You got to have convenient amnesia. So if you miss that one, you can't worry about it because you can't get it back. So you just got to be ready to make the next one. So we preach that a lot with all our guys, especially in our workouts and in practice. Just be ready to shoot the next one. And as long as you're prepared to shoot the next one mentally and physically, then you're going to give yourself the best chance to go in because you can't get the one that you missed before that one or even that you made before that one. You can't get it back. So you just got to shoot the one that's presented to you at that time.
Who do you have new, Coach, that you're looking forward to being a contributor for you?
Well, a lot of new guys. Greg Spurlock, who's a transfer from Coppin State, he's been great for us here in in the early portion of the preseason and our practices with his senior leadership. He's a senior. He's played a lot of basketball, and he brings a calmness to us. He keeps has a lot of poise, and he's a gamer. And he's a baller, and we're excited for him and he can play multiple positions, so he gives us a lot of flexibility and versatility as well. Guy Fauntleroy, he's another Division I transfer guard that we brought in. Guy's a really good combo, can score the basketball, and he's a sneaky good passer as well. We're just trying to get him acclimated with our system and how we want to play, and I think he's going to fit in well. Christian Sandin is a transfer, a Division II transfer. He didn't get to play a lot last year as a freshman, but as a sophomore, he has a college-ready body. He's done a really good job of working hard here in the preseason, and he's been knocking down a number of different shots for us and shooting the ball well, which is one thing that we wanted to add. David Anyuwaku, he's a big from Illinois, a junior college player. He doesn't even know, where his potential is. His ceiling is untapped right now. He's another one that's just recently played basketball. He's in year 3 or year 4 playing basketball too on the collegiate level. So, but he's just a horse. Every bit of 6.5, close to 6'9", but athletic, skilled. Can run and jump, and he brings a different dimension to us as well. And then Marlon Pratt, we brought in as a grad student, and he's just a heady, cerebral player. Really knows how to play defensively. Really good as a lead guard at times, but also can play off the ball. And he has good size that he can guard multiple people. So we're excited about those guys. And, of course, we're excited about the guys that we're returning as well. And we think we have a good group with the core that we have and then the additions that we made that, we stick together and stay connected throughout and continue to listen and learn. The sky's the limit for this group.
Well, I heard you talk about one of the young men coming in, 6'8", 6'9". Does he kind of answer the question you had in terms of getting that size you wanted inside to be able to play against some of the bigger teams in the CIAA?
A little bit. I mean, he handles his own. Like I said, he's very untapped in a sense. He doesn't even know how strong he is, or even really, to be honest with you, how good he can be. So we're just trying to continue to help him and teach him so he can use that size to his advantage and to our advantage. When we go up against opponents that have size, because I believe he can be a matchup problem as well because he can put the ball on the floor from the perimeter. He can also shoot the ball from the perimeter, so he can kind of be an inside-outside guy with his size and athleticism. So, and then we also got bigger on the perimeter. I also wanted to get bigger wings, and we were able to do that with the guys that we brought in. So it makes us look bigger, even though we may not have great size on the interior, but because we have bigger guards, it allows us to look bigger throughout 1 through 5.
I know Leonard Hamilton at nearby Florida State, during his heyday, he had a lot of players in that 6'5", 6'7", 6'8" range. And they finally figured out that he liked that size because he was able to switch pretty much 1 through 5 in his man-to-man defense and never really recruited a traditional point guard because it would just throw off what he was doing defensively. But you going a lot larger on your wings is going to allow you the opportunity to do a lot of things, even more so than what you've been able to do successfully in the past.
Yeah, I've tried to preach versatility ever since I've gotten here, and we wanted to be as versatile as we can possibly be, but also with that versatility, being able to keep our so-called core guys or best guys on the court as much as possible and not get hurt from other teams, depending on what lineups we have on the court. So due to our size that we were able to bring in this year from a perimeter standpoint, and with our skill set that I think we were able to bring in as well, I think that allows us to play many different ways. We can play fast, we can play slow, we can grind you out. We can be a physical game, or we can be a tennis match where it's going back and forth. I believe we can adapt to any style due to the personnel that we have, and I'm excited to see that, and I'm excited to coach it every day because we do have that versatility.
Well, Coach, I don't want to get a trade secret, but tell me how in the world, with all the seniors that you have, even returning to start your recruitment process, that you were able to add additional seniors to a senior ball club. That just almost goes against what you would want as your incoming student athlete to be on a team with that many seniors. How have you been able to waive that that Dunlap wand and convince them to come to Claflin?
Well, we just offer up opportunity, and I lay all my cards on the table. There's you're dealing with young adults that are trying to make decisions that can help further their education as well as prepare them for life after college. So we just make sure we lay all the cards on the table, tell them the truth, speak the truth to them, and let them know like this is what we have coming back. These are the things that we expect. And if you want to be a part of that and help us in our journey of trying to create history, then come aboard. If not, no hard feelings. We understand. And if you find another place, good luck to you. But we just try to be truthful with them and lay all the cards on the table so they understand when they get here. There's no surprises because no one wants to be surprised when they get to a school and like, oh, this is not what the coach told me. So we let them know everything up front so then they can make the best decision for them and their families. And then when they come here, we love them hard, we coach them hard, and we want the best for them and try to pull out every piece of potential that they have in them so they can be the best that they can be.
That's a good answer, Coach. As we touched on real quickly about being picked, preseason polls finished second as a team. Each year you've gotten better, and earlier you were surprising people. You're not surprising them now, Coach. So how do you prepare your team for teams coming after Claflin now? And the fact that I don't care what anybody says, that there's a certain resentment that they don't want Claflin to take over because Claflin is doing so well across the board. Tell everybody about that a little bit.
Well, we have our own standards and our own expectations that no one can place on us more than we place on ourselves. So every day we try to preach and talk about just attaining and reaching our standards and being at our standard. And at our standard, if we do that enough, that's acceptable for us. And if we continue to build those days where we're reaching our standard, then at the end of the day, we hope that it will put us in a place where we have a chance to reach our expectations and our goals. So as long as we're keeping our eye on the prize in regards to our standards and everyone is taking ownership of that, then we're fine. And we don't really worry about the outside. We know we can't control that. We control what we control. We have a saying it's called EAT, EAT. It's about our effort, our attitude, and our toughness. And we would try to make sure that we control that each and every day. And if we know that we can make sure that our effort is great, our attitude is great, and our toughness is great, then it's going to put us in a place at the end of the day where we have a chance to be successful day in and day out.
Eat. I like that. I like that. Coach, I before we go too far down this path, I want to give you an opportunity to share with everybody about the academic success
Mm-hmm.
you have had with some of your student athletes. Now, the on the court success is important, but what you've been able to do with them academically, I want to give you a chance to be the proud papa and talk about some of the things that your student athletes have done academically since you've had them.
Well, we kind of have it twofold in the sense that we have study hall throughout the day. Um, every student athlete does, but then we also have study hall as a team pretty much Monday through Thursday and sometimes Sunday through Thursday, depending on our schedule. So we try to make sure they have enough, they have ample time to be able to get their work and get their studies in. And that's the other thing that we talked about them in the recruiting process, that we want student athletes who are competitive on and off the court in the classroom, and their competitive switch never gets turned off. So we want them to compete in the classroom just as hard as we want them to compete on the court. And I was very, very proud of our guys last year with what they had done in their academic side of things, and they've done a pretty good job thus far going into midterms already this semester. So we're hoping we can keep that up. And the one thing we also say to them too, if you're making sure that you're taking care of your grades and you holding them up, and that's one less thing you got to worry about. That's one less thing that you're bringing to the court. Because as young adults, you're not going to be able to close it all off. You're going to have situations where if you didn't do great on the test, you're probably going to carry that into practice. But if you know that you studied and you did your best and it just wasn't good enough for that day, then you can live with that. But then if I'm turning in my work, I'm going to class, I'm getting all my assignments done, then I got a good chance of attaining the goal that I want. And one of the things that we also do is we ask for the guys to give us academic goals at the beginning of the year, and we hold them to it. and we make sure that if we're slipping or we're falling off a little bit, we revert back to that in our meetings and we talk about that so they can get back on track. So, once again, that's the standard that we've created. And then when we ask you about your goals, those are goals and expectations that you laid out that you want us to help you with, and we try to do everything we can to help you attain those goals and expectations.
Now, Coach, all that sounds good, but you're at Claflin. Claflin is Claflin is an academic school. If you're not serious about your academics, you're not gonna last at Claflin but maybe 3 or 4 days.
True.
But it's an HBCU with South Carolina State next door. It has an HBCU environment. It's a little different going to HBCU,
That it is.
social life that is there every day, 24/7. Coach, what you said sounded real good, but if I'd never been on an HBCU campus, I wouldn't know that there was many temptations as it is for these student athletes. So there's a little bit more to it than what you're saying to be able to get them acclimated academically, because that temptation is right there because they're young adults.
Yeah, the temptation is there, but still, you're a student athlete. So you're a student first and an athlete second. And without no books, there's no play. And we're very adamant about that. And we stay on our guys um, from sun up to sundown, basically, just making sure that we're checking up on them. We have weekly check-ins about grades and things of that nature, and then we have bi-weekly just meetings, and we just talk about non-basketball stuff. So with all of that, we make sure that they understand the importance of not only just what is required of them, but also what comes with being a Claflin Panther and the prestige of the school and our reputation from an academic standpoint as well. So we want to live up to that in every way possible. We understand that we also are ambassadors of the school, and we're part of the front porch of the school. And due to us not having football, we're one of the flagship programs of the school. So we understand that, and we don't take it lightly. So it's one of them things that, what you emphasize is what you get, right? You being a former coach, you understand that. So those are one of the things that we emphasize about just making sure we taking care of our grades, and then we take care of all our other responsibilities. And I've always been told a candle can burn on the top and the bottom. So the top has to be academics and the bottom can be athletics. If you make social one of them, then one of the other two are going to struggle. So we try to make sure we keep our mindset on our academics first, and then our athletics second, and then the social will come. That'll come whenever. But you want to make sure you be that student athlete each and every day first and foremost.
Excellent response. And one of the things a couple of things I heard you say, I heard you talk about your team study hall above and beyond the athletic department study hall, the weekly check-ins,
Mhm.
and just having some knowledge of the background of Claflin. It seems like you have outstanding support within the
Mhm.
department with your administration and staff, and it just seems like everybody works together for the common good of the students.
Yeah, we're a small, intimate department, and so with that being said, all hands are on deck. All hands are on deck, and just as much as I'm the head coach of the men's basketball program. My assistant coach Newton is the assistant. Coach Jenkins, Coach Watts, other coaches in the other programs. We also look at these other student athletes. So if we see that someone is kind of walking down the wrong path a little bit or something's going on, then it's nothing for us to pull aside another student athlete just to have a little conversation with them, give them a little pep talk. With us being a small, intimate group and having a smaller staffs, it's one thing for your own student athletes to they can get tone deaf every once in a while, their head coaches and their assistants. But if you hear from another coach within the athletic department, that shows that everyone cares and everyone's looking out for each other. And it is what it is. It takes a village, and we're just a small, intimate village, and we're trying to make sure that we help all the student athletes and these young adults be the best that they can be.
That's excellent, and I'm always so pleased with the atmosphere on Claflin's campus. And I have yet to be on campus one time and not feel the family love and everybody pulling in the same direction. I haven't been on campus yet where I've seen anything other than what you just said. And I just think that every opportunity, I don't care if everybody says it every day, is not communicated enough and can't be communicated.
Exactly.
Coach, now we're gonna get to basketball a little bit more, but I just wanted to be able to, I wanted people to see what I see. I wanted them to hear from you the academic side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, you made it to the semifinals in the CIAA last year. What did it do to you to get that close, and what did you learn from it? It seems like each year you go, you come back with something else that you learn that you plan to implement to help you prepare your student athletes for that ultimate goal.
What it did, it just drove my hunger that much more. Being that close, being one game away from having an opportunity to play for a championship. It was painful. It was hurtful. But without joy, there's no pain. Without pain, there's no joy. So, well, hopefully we can turn that pain that we felt when we lost that game into some joy this year. One thing that I did was I reflected back on myself and saw where I could have been better as a coach to help my guys, not only in that game, but throughout the course of the season that would have put us in a better place than just that game. It didn't come down to just that one game.
Right.
But there were opportunities in that game too that I felt like I let us down. So I had to look at myself in the mirror and reflect back on that. And that was painful, but I grew from it, and I will continue to grow from it, and I'll help our guys be better. The other thing I took from the game was, Lincoln's group, they had been in the championship game the year before, so they understood what it take to be that to get there, and they showed that down the stretch, and they closed us out. And they also showed at the beginning of the game how they punched us in the mouth. So what we have to prepare ourselves, but at the end of the day, that's last year. We can't get it back. All we can do is just move forward on the things that we can take control of this year. Don't lose sight of the day that's in front of us and where our feet are, and be present where our feet are. And we can't worry about Baltimore. Baltimore will come, God willing. We'll get there, and the games will be played. But in the interim, how good can we be today on October 29th? And then after today, how good can we be tomorrow on October the 30th? And just continue to build off that and stack good days. And like I said before, reach our standards each and every day. So then we have a chance to get our goals and expectations that we've laid out in front of us. I think our guys that have returned, I think they took it to heart for sure. A lot of the guys that returned, and when they came back from the summer, were in better shape. They were in a better place mentally in regards to what it's going to take to be a champion, and what it's going to take to have to put ourselves in an opportunity to play for a championship. So that's been kind of like their focus. We don't really talk too much about it, other than we have a meeting about it at the beginning of the year, and then we talk about, in order to be champions, you have to live a championship lifestyle. And other than that, we just try to be accountable for that and keep ownership of that and do that daily to have a championship lifestyle. But we don't really worry about the end results. We just worry about, can we get better each and every day, and can we continue to grow individually and grow collectively, and how tight can we be? How together can we be throughout this course and this journey that we're about to embark on?
Well, Coach, how helpful have your fans and student body been in your quest? Because I notice each year your fan support gets louder, the jungle becomes crazier, and then even going to the CIAA, to see the number of students and alumni that actually went was just kind of heartwarming to see that. So, Coach, what do they do to motivate your team and to have them as a part of this journey with you?
Well, we're very, very appreciative of their support, and over the years, it's continued to grow. Um, I know the guys feel it. They feel the energy when they walk into the gym. We're playing at home. It's a home court advantage. I know a lot of teams, they may say they like coming here just to the advantage. I mean, due to the environment, but they don't really like coming here because of how our fans can get on them, especially when we're doing what we're supposed to do on the court and we're playing well. So with that being said, we're very grateful to support. The CIAA tournament last year was wonderful to have the support that we had from them, and what they showed, and they showed up and they showed out, and hopefully we can continue to bring them um, good play on the court with high character young men, and have a chance to put ourselves, like I said, in that Saturday night in that championship game, because they deserve it. They deserve it, and they've been there every step of the way with us, and they've grown, and they've gotten other people on board to get on the bus with us as well. And it's been a joy to see. It's been a joy to see, and I enjoy it a great deal, because now it's like a six man when you come into Claflin and you come play in our arena, and our gymnasium is rocking, and the atmosphere is so great, and the guys feel it, and they build off of that. And when we're not playing well, and they lift us up, more than they know, and we're going to continue to try to put the best product out there for them so they continue to support. And we just want to know that we're very appreciative and thankful for everything that they do.
Well, Coach, they become a true six man. They're very vocal. They get behind you. Uh, it's really exciting to see them respond to your team the way that they do.
Definitely.
And each year your team grows, but your program is growing. I noticed that you might have had one of your best camps this year. Tell us about your basketball camp.
Yeah, we had an elite camp, and it was pretty good. We had a good number of young student athletes here, and they showed out as well. It was a good little group of talented young players that will be on the radar that we'll be able to watch and be able to monitor, and hopefully one day they can become a Panther and wear our Claflin colors. It was fun just to do it, and love being around the youth and trying to help them and trying to develop them and give back to them and give a little bit of my tidbits of what I've learned from the game, what the game has given me back to them. And they were very receptive. All the guys that were there that showed up at the camp were great listeners. They tried to apply anything that we gave them that day. And our elite camp's a little different. We don't just roll the ball out. We try to teach. We try to do some things that we would normally do in a practice setting. So they have a little bit of a feel in that short period of time what it's like for us to if you came to one of our practices or if you were involved in our practice when you became a Panther, that you would understand some of the things that we do, so it wouldn't be foreign to you. So that's something that we try to do. And like I said, the guys that were here were very receptive, and I appreciated them for coming and giving their best. And hopefully we'll be able to continue to monitor them throughout. And like I said, one day hopefully some of them could be Panthers.
Well, Coach, you're getting ready to get this season started. You got homecoming coming in a couple of weeks. Y'all are becoming frequent flyers, traveling the Virgin Islands again this year. Tell us how that actually, what the advantages in having your team together for 4 or 5 days with just you and your team together. Tell us something. See, I understand, but other people might not understand the significance of having them together like that.
Well, we go back to the beginning of the show. We talked about the amount of seniors that we have, and the way the landscape of college athletics is now, especially with football and basketball, with the transfer portal, and so many guys finding new homes year in and year out. Well, the one thing I felt that last year when we went to the Virgin Islands that it did for us with the new guys that we had brought in and the returners that we had, it's one thing to do team bonding events, and it's another thing to try to manufacture things so your teams will be together. But it's another thing when they can do it organically. And when we were in the Virgin Islands, it was just organic love that the guys had created for one another, just being around each other in those settings, because basically it was just us. Like we don't know anybody else that's around there, so it's just us, and it did wonders for us not only there. But when we came back, it kind of set the motion for us to go on the early run that we haven't had in the CIAA when we came back from that trip. And we were a fill-in last year, so we weren't even allowed to play in the championship game. So this year, we're not a fill-in. We're able to, if we're good enough to make it to the championship game, then we'll be there. But I'm hoping that it creates the same type of camaraderie for us, and same type of togetherness for us, so then it can propel us for when we come back for CIAA play when we come back from the Virgin Islands. But we challenge ourselves. Well, let me say I challenge ourselves in the schedule that I made for our guys. We have a tough schedule, and I understand that, and we're going to be road warriors for a while. We're going to be on the road traveling and things of that nature. But I think when you're on the road, that helps build that camaraderie and that togetherness as well, because it's just you. It's you against everybody else. And hopefully with the number of guys that the crew that we had returning and the new guys that we've brought in, and hopefully we can make those organic moments again happen sooner than later. So then it helps us not only just in the early portions of November and December, but also moving forward in the second half when we get into the CIAA in January and February.
Well, Coach, it's always a pleasure to be able to talk to you and gain some insight from you. Anything in closing that you'd like to say to your fans and supporters of your program in closing?
Well, like I said before, I just want to say thank you to everyone who comes out and supports us, whether physically or just being there spiritually with us. I know our guys and our program really love the love that you guys have given us, especially us being new guys. I mean, you know, we're going into year 3, so we're still relatively babies, and we're still infants in the CIAA as well. But I think our fans have gotten into the CIAA spirit. We understand what we bring to the table, and we're going to continue to do our best to put the best product out there on the floor for you guys, so y'all can be supportive and be proud of us, of the young student athletes that we're putting out there on the floor, but also on the floor, but also the student athletes that are here to represent Claflin University, and everyone that's come before us and everyone that comes after us.
Well, thank you. That's well put, Coach. We appreciate the way you've been by INSiiGHTS. We appreciate having the opportunity to see you and your team several times. While there and watching, we stay out of the way, let you do your business. And for a little while, I'm able to just be a fan and just cheer and support. So we wish you extended luck and success coming to this season. I'll see you homecoming, and we'll have you on again later in the year.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.